Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to highlight another absolutely awesome Black Friday sale. This one coming from our friends at Fanatical. Man, Fanatical has just been crushing it with some of their deals recently, and we're gonna highlight some of their absolutely awesome Steam game deals under the price of $5. Again, this is directly off Fanatical. You get Steam keys for all of these, so really solid pickups all things around. So let's get right into it, and let's start things off with Dishonored 2, which is down to $2.69. I really enjoyed Dishonored 2. Thought it was a better game than Dishonored 1, and I love Dishonored 1 as well. Dishonored 2 has two playable main characters, so it has a little bit of replayability, although if you just go through it once, that's fine. Action stealth gameplay, where you can really tackle the game in a variety of different ways, but I feel like the better way to play Dishonored is the more slow-paced, calculated approach, but you know, you guys do whatever the hell you want to do as far as playing the game. Unfortunately, we probably won't be getting a Dishonored 3 anytime soon, given that Arcane is chasing the Marvel bag with Marvel's Blade, and we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully it's pretty good, but man, like, I wish some of these studios would just stick to their IPs. I get it. There's probably a lot more money in the Marvel titles, but there's a lot more money you gotta pay to get those IPs and licenses as well, so it's a catch-22, but Dishonored 2, great game, $2.69 on that. Next up, another Arcane title, this one from Arcane Austin. We have Prey 2017, $2.69 on this. I think Prey 2017 is an absolutely awesome game, a super underrated game that was done by Arcane Austin, who obviously recently did Redfall, and yeah, we don't like to talk about that game. They also recently got shut down. I shouldn't be laughing at a studio getting shut down. They recently did get shut down, though. You know, it's unfortunate because Prey, I thought, was an incredible atmospheric sci-fi first-person shooter. Had some Metroidvania elements to it as well that I thought were really well done, and the game's got, for a single-player FPS, this game's got a good bit of content. It's not your typical, like, linear Call of Duty style FPS, of course, as far as the campaign's concerned, but really, really well done, engrossing atmosphere, and just an incredible game that is incredibly underrated as well. The game didn't knock it out of the park commercially, so obviously we never saw a sequel, but it is what it is. These things happen in gaming, as I say. Next up, Doom 2016, $3.49. Again, for the two of you guys that don't own Doom 2016, remedy that as soon as possible, because Doom 2016 is an awesome game that I highly, highly recommend you to play. Over-to-the-top, visceral, first-person shooting action, and just a ton of fun. You know, it can be fairly challenging as well. Definitely check it out. Doom the Dark Ages coming out next year, and that game looks awesome. Love the setting shift of that game as well. Excited for that. But for now, if you have yet to play Doom 2016, check that out. Next up, we got Sonic Adventure DX, 56% off for $3.55. I mean, it's a classic. I am a sucker for the old school Sonic games, and even these days, the newer Sonic games be pretty good, man. Sonic Frontiers, Sonic Superstars, Sonic X Shadow Generations, I thought those were all varying degrees of good, and some being great, but obviously Throwback Sonic has that level of charm and nostalgia to it that really cannot be replicated, and the game is awesome. I really do hope they do a ground-up remake of this game at some point, and I feel like they will. Sega's annualizing Sonic as a franchise, and I just feel like, you know, you're not gonna drop a Frontiers-level game every year. That's why we've had Sonic Generations, Superstars, but Sonic is a franchise right now, as an IP. Fingers crossed and knock on wood that it stays this way, but it's hot. It is a good time to be somebody that likes Sonic, and for a long time, bro, you had to deal with games like Sonic and the Black Knight and all this nonsense, but Sonic, from the throwbacks to the newer games, a lot of good stuff, and Sonic Adventure DX for $3.55, good deal there. Next up, I'll give a shout to the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Game of the Year Edition. It's $3.29. I'm not crazy about Elder Scrolls pre-Skyrim. You know, that makes me a very casual Elder Scrolls fan. Like, I thought Oblivion was fine. When I played Morrowind, that game was just too difficult for me to get into. Oblivion, though, it's an iconic game, and there's going to be a lot to sink your teeth into from a modding standpoint as well, so you can take advantage of that. You've got the additional DLC content with the Game of the Year edition, and yeah, if you want to check out Oblivion, I feel like this is a mandatory game in every game library, so $3.29 on that. Go check that out. Next up, Gris is 80% off for $2.99. I've been beating the drum of this game for a little bit now after playing it, and this is a tremendous game. you know, oftentimes people will describe certain games as games representing an art form. It shows games as an art form, I believe, is the saying a lot of people use. I always thought that saying was a little bit corny, but in my opinion, if any game can fit that criteria, Gris is exactly that. An incredibly emotionally gripping and evocative experience that I just found incredibly compelling. Art style is tremendous, presentation is tremendous, soundtrack is incredible. It is a game that I recommend everybody to play. I believe the studio just put out another game. I want to say it's called Neva. That game looks quite good as well, and I would definitely say go and add that game if you're not going to pick it up to your wish list, because that game looks outstanding as well. Yeah, Neva is the game. It came out back in October of this year, and another title to be on the lookout for. But that game is also artistically incredible. But Gris is $3. Neva is $20, so, you know, obviously $3 Gris, pick that up. Metro Redux bundle, 92% off for $2.39. I mean, for the two of you guys that don't own this collection, you absolutely should. You get Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light, two excellent atmospheric first-person shooters that have honestly aged fairly gracefully. I feel like the games still look pretty good, and though these are games that were blow away from a technical standpoint when they came out, so obviously it's gonna have a little bit longer of a shelf life, but the atmosphere is incredible, and for a narrative-driven single-player FPS, you don't see a lot of those, especially at the time when these came out. Like, Prey obviously did come out, but that was in 2017. These were, I want to say Metro 2033 was 2010, and Last Light was 2012, around that range, but yeah, these games are great, and definitely play these. Play Exodus. It's wild to see these games for $2 and change. You know, I remember spending $60 on Metro Last Light back in the day, and I'm not mad about that whatsoever. The game was awesome, so check that out. Next up, OlliOlli World, 77% off for $4.59. This game was incredibly well received. Awesome art style, skateboarding title here, and just a lot of charm customization options are there as well. Platforming skateboarding title, $4 and change for that seems pretty good, so check that out. Heavy Rain, 78% off for $4.39. I love Heavy Rain. I think it's a great game. Now, obviously, it is a game that shows its age quite a bit at this stage of the game, but it's still a worthwhile game to go through from a narrative standpoint, and a lot of twists and turns, and like I always say, with Quantic Dream titles, play these games blind. I know you can look up a guide and figure out the ending that you want to get and the decisions that have the consequences that you want, but what are the point of consequences if you know that the consequence is coming? Like, you want your decisions to actually have consequence. If you eliminate that consequence, it eliminates a big part of what makes you enjoy games like this. That's my 2 cents. You can disagree, but for $4.39, definitely a worthwhile pickup there. Next up, I think this game is super underrated. Castlevania Lords of Shadow Ultimate Edition, 85% off for $4.49. I played this on consoles when it initially came out, and then randomly got a port on PC, and it was a pretty solid port at that from my recollection. Like, I played this right when it came out on PC as well. I really enjoyed Castlevania Lords of Shadow. Maybe it's not akin to a lot of the other Castlevania games you'll play, like if you pick up one of the collections, the Dominus collection or whatever. You know, it's not like that at all. It's more of a third-person action game, and some interesting puzzles that I wasn't crazy about, honestly, the puzzles, but the gameplay I thought was quite good. The visuals I thought were great for the time, and, you know, still hold up decently. Some of these games from these eras are looking a little bit rough. I'm doing another playthrough of Assassin's Creed 2 right now, and my oh my, like, I've played through Assassin's Creed 2 so many times, but that game, I don't know why this time around, I'm like, man, this game's kind of dated. But, yeah, it is what it is. These games are still great to me. And Lords of Shadow I really did enjoy. Even if you aren't crazy about Metroidvania, Castlevania titles, check this one out as an action title, and I think you'll end up having a good time. $4.49, a pretty good price there. Throwback action platformer, The Messenger, is $3.99. A little bit challenging, but very much a throwback to that Super Nintendo era of action platformers. At this price point, I feel like it's a pretty good pickup. Wanted to give that a mention. Star Wars The Jedi Knight Collection. This is actually, like, insane for all the content that you get. Star Wars The Dark Forces, Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, Star Wars Jedi Knight Mysteries of the Sith, and then you get Jedi Academy, and then also Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. All that for $3.89. Obviously, these games are older. They're gonna show their age, but all those classic titles, if you're a Star Wars fan, I feel like this is a great collection to pick up, so definitely do check that out. A lot of good value there, for sure. sure. Cat Quest 2, 79% off for $3.14. Man, Cat Quest is just a good time. If you can't find some enjoyment out of Cat Quest, you have no soul. Maybe that's a little bit too much of a stretch, but the games are relaxing. The games are easygoing. It's not something that is gonna really get you engaged from a gameplay standpoint and get you super in-depth and let me break down the nuances of Cat Quest gameplay. It's not gonna be that, but sometimes you need something relaxing after a long day at work or, you know, just a stressful day. I feel like Cat Quest is always a good time as far as that's concerned. And Cat Quest 2, this cheap, definitely great. And after Cat Quest 2, play Cat Quest 1, of course, and then Cat Quest 3 still going for a little bit of a hefty price point, but when that sees a deeper discount, maybe that's something to check out as well. And then lastly, Saints Row 2, $2.19 on this. I mean, Saints Row, to me, really blew up after Saints Row the 3rd, but there's a large portion of people that find the nostalgia with Saints Row and Saints Row 2, so if you're one of those people, or you want to check out Saints Row with more of, I guess you could say, a serious tone, like Saints Row the 3rd took it so zany and off the wall, and that was a good thing. It worked and really gave it an identity, which I feel like maybe some people didn't see Saints Row having that pre-Saints Row the 3rd, but go check out Saints Row 2 for $2 and change. I mean, that's a pretty good deal, all things considered. But that'll do it for me. Again, a lot of great Black Friday game deals available. These all available at Fanatical. Links to them in the description box below. Check them out if you do end up buying anything. I do get a little bit of an affiliate kickback, and that is much appreciated. But that's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thanks for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.